being on call for the nation's crimes. Leslie found out, Dan, last year that I volunteered the whole battalion for Desert Storm. She didn't know. And that caused quite a scene in our house for about 2 weeks. But if you don't do things, you don't get things. If you don't venture boldly, then you don't get friends like Paul Woodrow, who I met as lieutenant. We were in the same slot, an Army accident, and here it is, just about 30 years later, the best of friends, and have shared 30 years together and 30 more. You wouldn't have met Tom Garrett when I got to be the Secretary of General Staff. I didn't know what it was. It's the friendship, it's the country, and the friendship, and doing what the country needs, not what you need. I just like it. And also, I wonder what kind of person I'd be if I hadn't gone in the Army. I don't know. But people say, why did you go in the first place? And I always say, Lieutenant Rip Masters, remember Rin Tin Tin? He was a lieutenant, he was really good looking. Well, I didn't have that benefit, but I could be a lieutenant. That one girl on the post liked him, the boy liked him, and Rinnie liked him, and I thought, I gotta be a lieutenant. And that was my main motivation for going to Ohio University, Channel ROTC. I've loved every minute, even when it was bad. Our tent blew down in a sandstorm at night in Safwan, Iraq. The ridiculous, absurd orders we got from higher headquarters. And I always thought things were funny, and I was there to work it out for the troops. I guess one other thing, I sort of feel this way about Mountbatten. Whatever you are has to be expressed through other people. So you gotta try to surround yourself with great people, and then, or good people, and then help them be great. And then you do that, you get all these great things happening to you, like tonight. That was really great. Really, really great. And I thank all of you for coming. Here it is, a weekday night, and your 9-year-old drawn down to Washington. I really appreciate your friendship. My love for you, even Gary Bragg, who was in the Navy. Dan, he's in the Navy and he gets seasick. Michael Calico in the Navy. And you all know this already. My family, incredibly dear to me. And how do I feel about this? It would be like not playing tennis again. Someone telling you can't play tennis, you can't buy sobs. I can still buy sobs. I got a lot of things to do. And I think my backwards way of doing life, which is doing the Army first, getting married and having kids second, is now going to pay off. The Army probably won't need my services anymore, but these little floor nippers probably will. So I love all of you. I really thank you for coming. I thank you for continuing to serve. And that's what I have to say. So, congratulations.
I took over the command of the 817th Parachute and Assault Battalion, and I started looking for quality people. And I tried to get Ken at that time, and that was back in around 1980. And old Ken had gone off to Harvard. And the next thing I know, he showed up at 358 with the same kind of guy pulling him my way, because he was recognized as a quality person. And the talents that you see at Mountbatten are the talents that he had in the reserves. He didn't work for me, he worked with me. Sometimes I didn't know who was commanding, but his ideas were better than mine, so I always took it that way. I went into a supermarket the other day, and a young lady, I handed her my reserve officer's credit card. She said, are you a military person? I said, well, I used to be, I'm retired. And she said, well, I'm an Army reservist. And I said, well, I had my share of that too. I said, I had 30 years of that stuff, and I only remember the good stuff. I don't remember the bad stuff. And this young girl said to me, that's funny. That's the same thing that happens to me. I only remember the good stuff. So it is a good time, Ken. Something that they'll never be able to take away from you. Something you'll always be proud of. Some experiences that most people will never have the opportunity to have. So I just wish you and Leslie and the little peoples lots of pleasure in the future. You'll find out that you'll be able to do a little bit more without balancing the guilt balls, which I think sometimes you'll never get rid of that, but you will, because there's a lot of growing time left, as I see it. So thank you very much for having been my friend, for being my friend, and having had the opportunity to be with you.
If I could say a word or two. During Ken's retirement, and I said absolutely, I couldn't imagine missing best man at my wedding, always there when I needed a steady person to talk to, a comrade in arms, and someone that I sought and appreciated the wisdom of their remarks. But I also wanted to be here for all the people that Ken had helped in his career. All those people who aren't here tonight that he took care of. That selfless service was part of Ken's motto. That there were enlisted people who got fed. There were people who got the awards they were supposed to. There were individuals who were cared for, and their needs were met as a soldier, as a human being, as a person. And their rights were respected because of Ken Brier. Against sometimes the winds of change within a command. I personally witnessed someone, because Ken was doing the right thing, threaten him with a weapon. I mean, he had one in his possession in a reserve center. The man has stood his ground for his principles, and he has done the one thing my father always said, is that you have a responsibility to give the next guy a leg up. And for all those people you've helped, I'm glad I'm here to say, you're my friend. I'm glad to see you retired.
Paul's not one of those, because we were doing a Jeep reconnaissance course, and we were laying it out, and we hit a hole, and Paul flew 10 feet out of the Jeep, went up in the air, and came back down, pretty close to on his seat, and we're still friends.
Okay, I can conclude it unless someone has something else to say. This is, go ahead, you give it. Put down your ice. Okay, give it to Daddy.
The Saudis gave us...
Can I help? Can I help?
Let them go.
This tape on this side, look. This is not where it came from, by the way.
It's always tell us.
Oh, wow. Very good.
He always said he'd be the guy in a nursing home with the pajamas and all the medals, and now he has a blanket to wear in a wheelchair.
That's great. Really cool. That's going to be really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to run serious your name shows. So they can withdraw off your channel.
There you go.
Did you ever find it?
That's really good. This is going to look great in our bedroom.
Maybe behind some of the paint.
Okay, well, there's drinks and